Thanks for joining us on the John Mendola Show. We're driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Let's talk Dunmore Lady Bucks basketball. Joining us is the head coach, Ben O'Brien. Well, Ben, another successful start to the season for you and your team, and a all-important Lynettt Tournament victory. It's hard fought, but you come out with a win, and that's a good shot in the arm as the regular season gets ready to start.
Yeah, it really is. It's a great tournament. We're happy that we're a part of it. It's a tournament that our players are always really excited to play in. Oftentimes you have players who have family members visiting, and they get to maybe come and see them play the only time they maybe get to see them play all season. And it's like that for a lot of the players on a lot of the teams. So it's a really exciting tournament. Our players performed really well against some very good competition, and it's really a great way to get ready for league play, which starts this week.
Ben, it doesn't seem like you have a down year at Dunmore. It just seems to reload some more. Great tradition there at Dunmore, and just really, as you mentioned, the family atmosphere. I mean, some of these players' parents have played or cousins played. It's just it just continues to go on, and it all starts with the hard work of the young ladies.
It really does. You know, it's a community thing. You know, in our community, it's such a close-knit community that you know, we have great families in this community, so they really take an interest in their kids' studies and oftentimes in their kids' athletics. They push them hard in the classroom, and when that's over, they push them hard on the athletic fields. And you know, for whatever, and I think that's the reason ultimately that Dunmore has a lot of success in a lot of different sports, seemingly every year. And it's because I really think in this community, like a lot of communities in our area, the parents really take an interest in what their kids are doing, and whatever their kids are involved in, they're sure that their kids are given 110% in that. And like I said, you can see that in our football program, in our boys basketball program, our golf program. You know, you see that everywhere. So it's really a community thing, and I'm happy to have been a part of this community my whole entire life, and it's a great place to live.
Ben O'Brien joining us here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers. Well, Ben, let's talk about this team this year that you have. I know you have a couple of seniors and some juniors, sophomores. You got a little balance everywhere. Let's first talk about the guards that you have hitting the floor for the Lady Bucks.
Yeah, you know, well, Megan Connors is our lone starting senior. We also have our other two senior captains who have been with us for 4 years, Amanda Pellicacci and Shannon Regan. But Megan Connors is really our leader and our defensive stopper. So she's important really important from a defensive standpoint for us. And then we have a couple of other starting guards. Our Kaylee Simeon, who's a junior, and she's been a starter for 3 years since her freshman year. And then we have a freshman, Maddie Martin, who rounds out our starting guards. Kaylee and Maddie are really terrific offensive and defensive players. Really skilled players. Both can shoot it. Really good kids, really good students. So our backcourt is particularly strong this year. And then we have a couple guards who come off the bench, Emily Sheehan, who has started some games for us last year, and Megan Hartshorn, who started some games for us. They're both sophomores. And then we have another freshman, Erica Bistran, who's kind of like that hybrid player, can play the guard spot, but can also go down low and play inside. So we're fortunate this year that we have a lot of guards, and we actually have pretty good depth inside as well. We have Jill Korjeski and Mariah Majeski, who are big, tough, athletic kids on the inside. Mariah being a returning all-star from last year, and they're both juniors. So we do have a good mix of some senior leadership. We still do have a lot of young players, but players who are really talented and really fun to coach.
Well, you mentioned Mariah Majeski and the job that she did at the Lynettt Tournament. Tell us about what she was able to do in that tournament.
Yeah, her teammates did a great job of finding her. She's a really good inside post scorer. She's very hard to handle one-on-one. She sees a lot of double teams in most of the games that we play, and sometimes it's not easy to get it into her. But she's in there working hard, and our guards have done a really good job of finding her. And what's good for Mariah about it is that she knows if she gets double teamed and she passes back out to one of our perimeter people, they can make good things happen. So it makes it tough for other teams sometimes to try to figure out, well, if they're going to try to take away Mariah inside, there's some guards on the perimeter that can hurt them. So that opens her up inside, the fact that she's got some really talented perimeter people around her.
Well, you talk about those guard play and having that and having a freshman, and it's always nice having a coach's daughter and the Martin girl. Tell us about what she's been like and coming onto the scene as a ninth grader.
Yeah, I think it's certainly having grown up in a basketball family. I think it's a big advantage for her. She's only a freshman, but in terms of basketball years, she's much further ahead than that. So that's a little bit unique, but it's definitely, when you're talking about a point guard, especially. Father, a former coach, her aunt is the head women's coach at the University of Delaware, and all the success they've had down there. And she really puts a lot of time into the game, and her parents put a lot of time into her game. So she's a really good player, and she's going to be a tremendous player when it's all said and done. But she's pretty good right now.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the league for the Dunmore Lady Bucks. Double A, of course, will be for districts, but you get to the league, you're going to play some good opponents there. Let's talk about the league matchup for Dunmore. Tell us about who you're looking at this year, and every night in, every night out, the old cliche never seems to go away. It's going to be a battle.
Yeah, I think our division might be the strongest division in both Lackawanna and Luzerne County. I'm a little biased, of course, but I do feel this year especially we've got a lot of really good teams. We have 3 state qualifiers from last year that basically returned their entire teams in Holy Cross, us, and Old Forge. Old Forge is really, really good. Holy Cross, the same. Their top players are all back, and then you have teams like Lakeland and Mid-Valley, and Carbondale this year is returning all their players and is playing well. So, and then you have a team like Riverside, who's always tough, and they have a couple of good young players to go along with a couple of their more experienced players. So, really, this year, I think more than any year I've been here, there's not a single night off, and it's going to be a really challenging league. And what's great about our league is when you've kind of gone through the gauntlet, by the time you get to district play, you've basically seen everything that you're going to see, and you get into the playoffs and you feel as though you're really, really prepared for that next step. And this year in the league is going to be an absolute dogfight, and every night you're going to have to be ready to play, or you're going to get beat.
It's Ben O'Brien here on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Center. So we talk Dunmore Lady Bucks basketball. And I know there's some teams out there that are very young, and when February comes around and we start getting ready for that district playoff seedings to see at the end of February where all that shakes out. There could be some changes or some upsets, things like that. I know a couple of those teams in the Lackawanna League are feeling good as the season goes on. I think they'll be a little different team at the end of February. But right off the top, Holy Cross has to be one of those teams that has to be looked at as the favorite for District 2 AA. You're right there with them. And then you throw in a couple teams out of the Wyoming Valley Conference that maybe traditionally have been down a couple of years, a GAR or a Hanover. They're looking to have a good year. But I think, as you say, when it comes said and done, all of you will be better for it when those state playoffs come around.
Yeah, there's no question about it. And I think, if you've looked over the last, few years or so, we've had a lot of teams from Lackawanna and Luzerne County go on into the state tournament and do well. And I think it says a lot about the overall quality of basketball that's being played on the girls' side in both conferences. And when you like you said, when you go through your respective leagues, you really feel as though you're battle tested. And I think the proof is in the pudding. The teams in this area, both in the Lackawanna League, the Wyoming Valley Conference, the teams have done well on a state level, and that's something that the area should be proud of.
Well, Ben, you continue to work hard at Dunmore. I've seen it over the years. You really do a great job coaching, and the young ladies, they buy into what you're selling. And, of course, the proof is in what this team has done for years. And 21-6 mark last year, hoping to improve on that this year. Congratulations on a big Lynettt victory over Scranton Prep. And best of luck as this regular season gets underway.
Thanks, John. Appreciate it.
That's Ben O'Brien from Dunmore, the Lady Bucks this year on the John Mendola Show, driven by McCarthy Tire and Automotive Centers.